I know it's the last session for the day, always the most challenging, I'm sure. Lot of knowledge imparted during the days by various different founders and companies out here. Uh, but just stick with us. I think this is going to be a interesting session. So what we are going to talk about is empowering self-care via Phygital, right? And quickly to just go to the next slide. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, so what is Phygital today, right? So Phygital is nothing but physical marketing which has high touch points, high uh, engagement with customers, whether it's touch, smell, taste, whichever form of engagement. And then there is digital, which is completely online, personalized, fast, convenient in a way. And so wellness is largely divided into 6 parts, right? And this is a very known, well-known McKinsey study where wellness is split into better health, better fitness, better nutrition, better appearance, better sleep, or better mindfulness, right? And everything is obviously better because that's what human nature wants us to do, which is get into a better well-being overall. But what is the difference between health and wellness, right? Today, the difference is that health is more about solving for a particular disease, a state of complete physical and mental, social well-being for oneself, but wellness is more about achieving a lifestyle change so that well-being remains. Some of the examples are for, let's talk about Pharmeasy to begin with. How we are empowering people is overall Pharmeasy now almost is a one-stop shop for healthcare, right? We started off being a pure e-pharmacy play, being a pure e-diagnostic play. Moving forward, okay. Moving forward, what we are looking at is becoming a one-stop shop to overall healthcare requirements. And how do you achieve that from a consumer perspective? You really need to nail these 4 points perfectly, right? Which is affordability, accountability, availability, authenticity, and visibility. Unless you have covered all these 4 points, you cannot touch a particular consumer online or offline. And talking about Phygital, right? Today, Pharmeasy or API Holdings has gone for a full stack healthcare play, offline and online. In the online world, everybody knows us as Pharmeasy. But in the offline world, we have Retail.io, which completely digitalizes retailers and digitalizes a consumer journey buying medicines offline. Similarly, we have B2B arms in hospitalization under AcnaMed, and that is a offline consumer touch point. So through physical and digital touch points, we have been able to cater to all of healthcare needs across 4 different segments that we focus on, which is patients, doctors, hospitals, and retailers. And just talking about how we have empowered healthcare overall for how do we engage self-care for consumers, right? So I had the Docon business, and as part of Docon, what we have done is created a inbuilt e-pharmacy, e-diagnostic journey. So Docon is nothing but a SaaS platform. You can see a clinic management solution for a doctor. But a doctor is only successful if he's solving the patient problems. A doctor is only successful if he's able to give at the patient's convenience the best form of medicine, diagnostic, or basically healthcare. And that's where we started off with our consumer journeys of e-pharmacy, e-diagnostic, where as soon as a prescription is created, with a click of a button, we are able to, the patient is able to order medicines on Pharmeasy itself, or with a click of a button is able to order diagnostic itself, right? Without the need of any further steps, without any friction of uploading prescriptions or of explaining to the customer service agent what kind of tests they require. So this is the enablement that we have done from a self-care perspective for a patient, that there is only intent. Consumer's intent is always that as soon as he gets out of the doctor's clinic, the first thing he wants to do is buy medicine or take a diagnostic test, and that we have captured that intent overall. So through our EMR pharmacy service on Docon itself, we have empowered the patient to order medicines for himself with a click of a button. And through our EMR diagnostic, as we call it, again, similarly, we have empowered the patient to order diagnostic within the doctor's clinic itself, through the patient app, through our SMS journeys. And at the same time, we have enabled doctors to do that for their patients, right? Whether it is you going to a retail store and engaging with an offline retailer, or engaging with your own doctor's receptionist who helps you punch a medicine or a diagnostic order. I'll quickly move to the next example that we have got. Disclaimer, I'm also advising this company. It's called Secret Alchemist. It's in the wellness space, right? So now this is the other spectrum of our health and wellness self-care that we are talking about. Secret Alchemist has taken the route of clinical aromatherapy. So self-care is not just about fulfilling a need, it's also about creating a discipline. I think, in our next conversation, we'll be talking about that. And Secret Alchemist solves for that. Discipline is required to use certain products. We'll also be talking to Kapiva kindly, where you have to continuously use products to have effectiveness. That's the part of key journey of wellness. And that's something that Secret Alchemist brought about via inhalation and even topical applications. And there are products for various lifestyle ailments, right? So it's not just creating self-care via a feel-good factor, but it's creating self-care via solving for particular diseases, solving for particular lifestyle ailments, whether it's anxiety, whether it's hair care issues or skincare issues. This is, of course, a product-based company. We'll soon see an example of a category-based company. But from a product-based company perspective, from an e-commerce marketplace perspective, that's where Secret Alchemist has empowered its customers. So having said that, I don't want to spend too much time on slides. Moving a bit faster, moving to the chat, I would like to welcome Nilay, who is the founder of Kindly, and Vaibhav, he is the head of growth at Kapiva. So sorry, I'm going to use my phone. I assure it's not for WhatsApp, it's for checking my notes. But, to start with, I think let's put a very interesting note on the beginning part, where largely we have seen in the market, consumers have better access to health information, which has led to accountability of their own health. And at the same time, product or brands have access to more channels, whether it is online or offline, whether it is at a retailer, and people are selling wellness and health products even at a grocery store, and OTC or healthcare products being sold at a pharmacy, vice versa, right? So this has led to a rapid growth in the market for understanding healthcare, for creating accountability for self-care. So on that note, Vaibhav, the first question to you, you are leading Kapiva, which is a well-known brand in the Ayurveda space. Could you share more about your journey at Kapiva?
Yeah, so wellness as a concept has boomed in the last 10, 15 years, and especially after COVID, people have seen the impact of having bad health or overall wellness agar nahi hai, so then people are getting impacted because of it, and it had come out predominantly after COVID. And as a generation, us millennials have been more focused about what we are eating, what we are putting inside our bodies, what we are actually applying on our skin. So wellness as a concept did interest me very much. Even before I joined Kapiva, I used to run a sleep startup focused on improving the sleep quality of people. And in India, in the last, as I said, 15 years, the thing has boomed like crazy. And I joined Kapiva not because wellness was the hottest thing around, but I actually wanted to understand how this ancient and holistic medicinal practice works, and to see the impact on the customers, their lives, how we improve that. That was the reason that I joined Kapiva. The journey has been phenomenal in the last 6-7 months. We are a dynamic team which is completely focused on spreading the goodness of Ayurveda in India and across the world. From a performance marketing perspective, we have scaled, like quadrupled in the last 1 year, and we are continuing to build, like growing sustainably is the buzzword right now, where you have to take care of your CACs and everything. So this is where we are currently focused at, and it would be interesting to see how the general wellness and the Ayurvedic wellness space grows from here.
No, I think absolutely agree there, where Ayurveda is a well accepted, let's say, concept in the market, right? And that's where more customers have always relied on Ayurveda, or yoga is, let's say, a buzzword now in the international market, but we have grown up with it. And that's where more consumers have taken to it.
Yeah.
You know, on that note, I mean, that's a great example of a marketplace-based company where you have a large catalog of products. Coming to you, Nilay, you know, I think you are touching upon a topic that still is an embarrassing topic or a taboo to talk about in social circles. I'm sure you get this question from almost everybody you meet.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic hashtag on Nilay's shirt, t-shirt more on the backside. But could you talk about, you know, those kind of taboos? How did you overcome it? How did you empower your customer to sexual wellness, self-care?
Yeah, so as you said, we are touching a very interesting topic in which you can see a lot of movements are happening right now. You were showing a slide. I noticed I was, discussing with Vaibhav that I will tell after the session that include one more thing which is called better sex. I think McKinsey missed on that. So better sex is very important, and I think that's what we do. We are into sexual wellness. We are creating we have touched upon a very interesting category which have been a taboo for quite a while. But if you see overall, this has been, like India as a country who gave birth to the Kama Sutra, has been a country which has evolved. I would say, you know, where we should have evolved with that, we have actually got a bit, you know, taken a step back and have got into, you know, we think this is a taboo. So that's where kindly comes into picture. What we are doing is we are building a full stack solution, which includes at-home diagnostic, which we pioneer in. So our USP is at-home semen testing. I think no one across the Asia or the European market has a technology to do at-home sperm testing. That's where we come into picture. And interesting, it don't look like a diagnostic. It's like a very interesting kit which goes to your house, very private, very discreet. And from there we get our customers once they have done their testing. We take them to the next step with certain consultations with a doctor which are qualified andrologist, gynecologist, as whatever is the problem. And then we have a full at the end, which is our last vertical, we have medicines or nutraceutical. So we have both RX and nutraceutical developed in-house by the company. So I think that's where we are attacking the market and trying to disrupt the market and organize a market which have been a taboo for quite a while.
Got it. I think, yeah, certainly very rightly said, right, that in fact, McKinsey's slide does talk about better sexual wellness, and that is a highly underpenetrated market in today's time. Everybody talks about it in small groups or to their doctor, but never to a large audience, and it's fantastic to see companies like yours breaking that social barrier for the overall betterment, right? And so having said that, actually, again, I'll go back to you, Vaibhav, where today's lifestyle has become unhealthy in a way, right? Whether it is sleep deprivation because we are working long hours, or whether it is excess stress because everything is required in 9 minutes, like the Blinkit and Swiggies of the world, everything is now. How has Kapiva sort of touched upon consumers digitally, touching them offline or online?
Yeah, so as a digital wellness company, we are very committed to empowering our customers with whatever they need for their for improving their quality of life through natural means. And we do that through three things, basically. We do a variety of products, from dietary supplements to personal care items, which are designed to actually support and enhance the body's ability to heal. Apart from that, we also provide our customers with educational videos, how-tos, to actually improve a habit, to actually create a habit as well. And apart from that, we have a network of health practitioners, certified Ayurvedic practitioners, and health coach experts who are there to answer any customer query, whether be it for a particular need or for overall general well-being.
Does this happen largely online or is it offline?
This does happen online as of now, but we are piloting a project with wellness and other offline vendors, where what we are doing is we are scheduling live doctor consultations through a QR code, which is right there on the rack. So the customer just has to scan a code and they'll be met with a doctor on the other side. They can ask any questions that they have regarding the efficacy of the product or the ingredients that have gone in, or their personal health as well, and the doctor can give live consultation there as well. So
right. No, I think we see this exactly a lot, right? Where online companies are now going offline.
Yeah.
Classic example is even including us at Pharmeasy. We are looking at a lot of retail stuff. Offline companies are going online. You have Pharmeasy equivalent, Apollo of the world, that's trying to do Apollo 24/7. And obviously, like all other business management study models that we have seen, the best or the most optimum path lies right in the center.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy as said, right? You spoke about a lot of online, let's say, touch points. Are you also selling offline via retail channels? Is that a channel that helps you out as well?
Absolutely. So what we are doing right now is doing top of the funnel awareness, and we are seeing an impact on both marketplaces as well as offline retailers as well. We have started doing campaigns specifically on some retail regions where we are doing that pilot, and we are like offline retail for us is a big bet in the next 3 to 4 years for sure.
Awesome. And how has it been for you? Kindly today solves the customer's problem at a category level, right? Unlike a product company, including Pharmeasy, a typical marketplace, I think you are solving the sexual wellness problem very differently, starting off with a more, yes, online touch point, but a service happening offline and then taking the customer back online. Do you want to share something on the customer journey? How did you approach this? How did you end up not simply selling products on Amazon, but taking a more educative approach?
Sure. So with this whole D2C era, which is we are seeing right now, we have seen a lot of companies who are trying to get into the sexual wellness space, selling products. But what problem we identified was that because it's so personal to people, as you said, that it's a taboo, it's very personal, like good sex life, everybody wants that. So we decided that why don't we take an approach which is more scientific, and we decided to go through a testing approach which is working well for us. So we are diagnostic first, as we were having a backdoor chat at that point of time. So we do testing first. We try to identify a root cause of your problem. And once we've identified your root cause, then we have multiple SKUs which are particular to a specific problems. So how this helps us to build trust with the consumer, because when you are backed with something which is more scientific, our testing, and he's doing at his comfort of his home, or she's getting her blood tested at a comfort of her home, it generates that trust factor, and then our doctors and our medical team are able to suggest them the right product which will be very useful in their journey. So I think that is the kind of approach which we are seeing working well for us in a category creation, because if you ask us like how we are different from the other marketplaces, we are trying to get in the sector using more of technology enablement. Like, it's not just the science I'm talking about. If you ask us the kind of tech we have invested in, the kind of tech we are building, from automating the whole processes, because, the semen test kit has to go to your house, you have to collect it to your, as your convenience, and it has to come back to the whole logistic, and you have to mention the ejaculation date, right. And there's so much of in-depth things into it. We have built a complete stack around it, which automate the whole process, and then we get the report sending in within 24 hours, recommending the right medicine. So I think that's what our approach is working well for us.
No, I think it's extremely interesting, because in today's time, to solely be just selling products, I think all of us have understood, is not the key to growth, right? It will get you to a certain level until you plateau, or rather you end up at a cliff. You don't want to be at a cliff, and most companies have realized, including At Pharmeasy, we have a doctor consultation layer. At Secret Alchemist, there is a aromatherapist that does consultation as to which aromatherapy oils you want to use. And I'm sure looking at Ayurveda, typically us as children, almost all the Indian children are used to their mother sort of giving them the knowledge share of, or knowledge transfer, not share, but knowledge transfer of uh, what is the home science way to solve a particular ailment before trying to pop a pill, right? And how has Kapiva tried to solve the education piece?
So that is where things get really interesting, because we are not just solving for the Ayurveda knowledge part, but also on the efficacy part. So Ayurveda may be ancient, but it's efficient. And the main problem that the current generation has with Ayurveda is, growing up, we have always seen Ayurveda as something that can help out with something that is not that will not address the root cause of something. Like, we have never seen Ayurveda solving something for someone. So that's where we come in. We are the first company in India which have actually gone ahead with a clinical trial for a particular product for diabetes, where we have showcased at least like 30% reduction in HbA1c levels from the control group that we had. And this is the kind of information that we are imparting to millions of Indians right now through educational videos, through doctor-led videos, through social proofing. By telling customers that this thing works, we are actually imparting more knowledge. Apart from that, we also do ingredient videos, and we do the science behind the product videos. But this piece, where we are actually showcasing the efficacy of the product, is where the maximum benefit comes, and it's where we are having the major impact in terms of the Indian ecosystem.
Interesting. And do you also have a similar educative layer? I know you have doctors empaneled talking about it.
Absolutely, we are doing is so we are trying to create that educational content. Definitely, we have sometimes problems with Facebook because it's we are into sexual health. But yeah, we are trying our best to make that awareness, whether it's through PR, whether it's through content creation with influencers. It has actually worked pretty well for us. Like, we did one campaign with influencer. It was a campaign. It called Ab Ghar Se. It was so good campaign, and we chose some influencers who were very bold, and the hashtag was Ab Ghar Se, and the concept was because semen test before we came in the market was always done in the hospital. You have seen all those movies, Vicky Donor. Ayushman was so nervous of going and giving a sample, but we have got a technology in which you do at your comfort of your home. And Ab Ghar Se was a campaign. It created a buzz around the market which we were targeting, and we were able to generate a lot of revenues from that. And still we are generating revenues from the same videos, because so much of educational content we put over there. We were trying to explain people that you can still you don't have to be nervous about these things. These problems are normal. Everyone can, like, anyone can have this problem. It's 45% of India is suffering from infertility and sexual health issues. So, and now we have got into a different strategy. Recently, we are getting a lot of doctors empaneled on our board, in which we are creating those educational content about multiple topics, from endometriosis to a vaginismus in female, to erectile dysfunction, to premature ejaculation in male. So a lot of things are going on there as well.
No, I think that's certainly the piece that today India requires a lot of knowledge impartation in terms of sexual wellness, right? For us, for all of us, especially in social circles, we would never end up talking about it. I think that truly solves the problem. So I mean, just looking at it, we are at an e-commerce summit, looking at it at a funnel level. I think we spoke about education. Let's say that is a half solved for acquisition. What sort of channels have been working for you guys? Maybe we can start with you, Vaibhav. What channels do you particularly see the best bang for the buck in terms of customer acquisition?
So currently, as for any D2C company in the world, it is primarily driven by Facebook and Google. But inside Google as well, we have had an interesting insight where we have started marketing on YouTube. And YouTube traditionally was something that people used only for brand marketing. We are using it for performance marketing in a very good way, because the new shorts inventory that is out there, that is working out wonders for us in terms of the reach and revenue.
Right.
And in terms of retention, apart from these two channels, we have
hold that
certain.
thought. I'm going to come back to retention, but
Huh.
what channels have been working for you?
So I think, as Vaibhav rightly said, initially, still we are a new brand. We are 6 months old in the market. Facebook, Google is really working well for us. As we are more of a healthcare company, so we generally don't get banned by Facebook because it's more of a doctor-driven content. But we have just started experimenting into things like, making channel partners through doctors, making doctors our ambassador to, promote our products and even educate people, because more than promotion, it's important for people to know कि semen test can happen at your home. So these are the kind of channels we are exploring. We are looking into multiple partnerships. We just got into Pharmeasy. So multiple marketplaces as well we are trying to get into. And then, I think YouTube, as Vaibhav said, is one of a major focus area, which we are also trying to build a lot of content and eventually get the customer acquisitions driven through YouTube.
No, I mean that's quite interesting because almost all the companies out there have realized that just Facebook, Instagram is not the way anymore. Its customer acquisition has got very expensive. But now we are at a stage where we have acquired a customer, and almost all of us also know that without retaining the customer, without having multiple purchases, it never works for us. At Pharmeasy, I think for us, it goes with it that we try to focus on chronic diseases, which is either diabetes or cardiac in nature, which automatically gives you, let's say, multiple purchases or retention. And I'll not say automatic, of course, there are a lot of journeys out there, but there is a natural nature of business where it drives retention. How do you drive retention, right? So coming to that question.
So for something which is not a need-based product, where you're solving for the overall well-being, it's very hard to build adherence, right? As we discussed before as well. Like if I give you a medicine, you're bound to eat it because that's how your habit has been throughout the last 30, 40 years, whatever it might have been. But if I give you a juice to drink to solve your skin problem, you might not want to do it because your habit is to apply something on your face and get done with it.
Right.
So how we are building adherence is by two ways. One, we are building internal adherence in the mind of the user by involving that user in their wellness journey. In the sense, everyone in the country right now are creating their own skincare routines, their own hair care routines, weight management routines and stuff like that. So what we are doing is we are giving them a place where they can configure their entire routine, get like nudges and everything based on what they have configured, and the app will suggest that this is your diet plan for today, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to drink, and so on and so forth. This is number one. Because you have given the control of the thing in the hands of the consumer, like IKEA did with furniture, like your perceived value of that thing increases, and hence the adherence increases in your mind. That is number one. Second piece that we are building is we are giving external nudges, we are giving reminders and stuff like that to make sure that you actually remember to drink a particular juice or apply a skincare product or something like that. So these are the two ways that we are building adherence in a self-care environment.
Got it. And I think I'm sure it's a similar scenario for you where somebody took a semen analysis test, a diagnostic test, because he felt there was a problem in the first place, right? And how does therefore retention work? Now you know 100% or at least 50%, more than 50% of the time the customer has a problem. How do you sort of attract them back to your platform?
So I think in our case, it's a bit, it becomes a bit obvious. We are lucky in that sense because the kind of problem, the kind of market we are in, people really need solution like sexual, sexual life and your semen health and with females multiple problems. People are looking for that solution. So once you have tested yourself, I think the next thing which you as a customer, even I will feel that okay, now what is the solution? Like how is doctor gonna solve that? So then the doctor comes into picture and give that product. Okay, for example, just today I was telling you, like we have just launched today some very interesting product. We already have a huge demand from a lot of distributors on the offline market for that. It's a Viagra, which is in a form of oral dissolving strip. So you can just keep it in your tongue and it's with a lemon mint flavor. So think about, I have tested somebody with their erectile dysfunction through my blood testing and all. And even if they know about it, now they will start consuming those Viagra and then with multiple. So we have started using Mo Engage and multiple WhatsApp automations to send them reminders. Then we have a complete retention team which is working in the back end, which get automatic information on through our internal systems which we have developed, that okay, this consumer must have consumed the Viagra, it is going to get in, just call them. So these are the kind of processes we are setting internally to make customers aware. And I think we are more lucky because sometimes they automatically come into the system because it's really helping them. So as I said, better sex life is, it's something everybody wants.
Right, no, absolutely. I think retention is key for all, and you're all solving for it. And I'll just would love to end the fireside chat on one note where what is the customer of the future wanting from us, right? And all of us here, of course, we need to empower self-care to consumers, but we need to be one step ahead in thinking about how to solve it. Some of the key things that I take away from at least this conversation is, one is consumers want end-to-end solution to their problem. Second is to have the end-to-end solution, you cannot just have a product or simply have a service. You need to have product, service, and education. And three is obviously it needs to come at a pocket-friendly price. At the end, something that even I was speaking about from a Pharmeasy perspective, affordability is one of the key sectors to growth. I think that's some of the top three points I feel the consumer of the near future is going to want to empower himself for self-care. But great, I think thanks for joining us for this fireside chat, and was great chatting with you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you so
a lot.
much.
Thank you a lot.